Let's move to the NBA Finals because we have plenty of time to soak in this one. 2 days until it starts. Thunder looking to cap off an historic season. OKC won 18 more games than the Pacers in the regular season this year. The largest differential in regular season wins entering a finals matchup since 1981. The Thunder have 4 wins by 30-plus points this season, the most by any team in a single playoff in NBA history. 2 of them, they won by 40. This team's nasty. And they are the 4th team in NBA history to reach 80 wins in a season, including the playoffs, prior to the NBA Finals, joining the Warriors of 2015-16, who won an NBA regular season record 73 games, and a couple of Jordan Bulls teams that ended up winning the title. At minus 700 favorites, they are tied for the 7th largest NBA Finals favorite in the last 40 years. The only team on this list at minus 700 or bigger favorites to lose the NBA Finals, the 04 Lakers, who lost in 5 to the Pistons, if you remember. No one better to preview the NBA Finals than Kendrick Perkins. Anything going on in the NBA today, Perk?
Too much. Too much. Coaches getting fired. It's crazy. That's what's going on in the NBA madness.
Yeah, we'll talk about that specific firing in just a bit on this show, but we want to ask you to help us handicap this series. The spread is set at 2.5 games. So do you like OKC to win this in 5 games or less at minus 2.5? Or do you think Indiana can push the Thunder to 6 or 7 games at plus 2.5?
Look, I picked Indy to win this. I picked OKC to win this series in 6 because I didn't want to disrespect the Pacers. But I definitely believe that this series is not going past 5 games.
Okay.
Listen, the Indiana Pacers are not going to win the game in OKC. It's hard, it's a dangerous place for an opponent because of the atmosphere and the way that they jump on you in that arena. I believe that Indiana will get one at home, but I don't see it going past 5 games. I love that minus 2.5 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll take that all day.
All right, you like the OKC Thunder to win it in 5, under 2.5, or under 5.5 games. Another market you can wager there. Meanwhile, the Pacers, they've at least been entertaining in this postseason. They've had an overtime game in 2 of the 3 series they've played. Do you see any of these final games against OKC going to an OT?
It's not going to happen in OKC, Tyler,
okay,
but it will happen in Indianapolis. It will happen in Indy. I believe it's going to be some close games in Indianapolis because they do play well. Indy does in front of their home crowd, and it's going to come down wide to wide, bucket for bucket between Tyrese Halliburton and SGA. So I do see one of those games, 3 or 4, being close.
Plus 255 for one OT game. And listen, the Pacers have had some crazy comebacks in this postseason, so even if they're down by 10, it's never over with Hallie on the floor. All right, let's focus on the MVP. SGA has a chance to join some elite company in this NBA Finals. Only 6 guards have ever averaged 30-plus points per game in an NBA Finals. Jerry West, MJ, and Steph have done it multiple times. Kobe, D-Wade, and AI each did it once. SGA's points per game line in this series at ESPN BET, though, is set at 33.5. You going over or under that massive number for the MVP?
That's it. That's it. In the 2 games alone, and listen, in the 2 games that they played him in the regular season, he damn near averaged 40. He's not stopping now. They don't have anyone on the Pacers that can stop SGA. I don't care if Rick Carlisle throws out a zone out there. He figured that out in the Denver Nuggets series. And this is not Jalen Brunson here, Indiana Pacers. This is not 6'1", 6'2". This is 6'6" that finish around the basket. This is 6'6" that actually have a mid-range game and can shoot over the top of your smaller defenders. This is the best perimeter player in basketball that never gets rattled. He will average more than 33.5 points in this series and go on to win his Finals MVP along with a championship.
Yeah, that would be something. By the way, I think there's a wager at ESPN BET for him to score 30-plus in every single game, no matter how many are played, at like plus 440. I kind of like that as well because Perk says 33.5 ain't big enough. Helping us handicap the matchup with the Pacers and the Thunder, Kendrick Perkins. Carry the hell on.
All right.
All right, let's stay in the association. This is what Perk was talking about in this stunner Out of Madison Square Garden is Tom Thibodeau out as the Knicks head coach after losing in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Pacers. Tibbs won 10 playoff games this season, their most since winning 12 back in 1999, which is the last time they made the NBA Finals. The Knicks did this despite the fact that they are tied for second favorite to win the NBA Finals next year at plus 850 with the Pacers. They both trail only the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are plus 220. That's crazy. I assume you're not going to lay the minus 700 on the Thunder as a favorite. So if that's the case, how are you playing this final?
I mean, listen, Tyler, you might have that kind of coin. Mama don't have that kind of coin. I like OKC just flat out winning this series 4-1. I'm gonna give the Indiana Pacers. I think they'll take one at home, but I think OKC locks us up at 4-1. You get that at plus money. Halliburton's great, but the biggest thing and takeaway I saw, especially in that Minnesota series, if you don't have a second creator, and not to take anything away from Siakam, but if you don't have a second creator, there's no way you're beating OKC. One might say that it might be the best team constructed, and of course, he won the MVP, arguably the best player in the NBA. I just think they check all the boxes. And oh, by the way, the 2 games that they faced them in the regular season, they just toyed with them. So I think the Pacers will be lucky if they win 1 game.
All right, if you missed it earlier, that's what Perk said. He likes the Thunder in 5 games, though he was taking the Thunder minus 2.5, so in case they sweep, he gets that. But you get a better ROI by nailing exactly the final outcome of 4-1 in the series at plus 190. All right, you're not with us the rest of the week, so before Game 1 tips off in a couple of days, how you playing it?
Yeah, I like the over here, and it just recently jumped up to 231.5. If you're scared, say you're scared. I'm not scared. Listen, Thunder over in 5 of their last 7 games, Pacers over in 10 of their 14. Again, these 2 teams played each other in the regular season twice, and they scored over 230 points. Pacers are going to have to play at a very high pace, fast pace. OKC loves to run. They average 122 points a game. So I like the over. Also, I like Indiana team total over 110.5 as well. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think a lot of points are going to be scored here.
I want to try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm going to try to wear I pull up all range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here,